Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's main event, the Eating Leather Podcast, sanctioned by the Sports Narrative Network. Let's meet the combatants. In this corner, weighing in at a svelte 300 pounds, Brian, the paper champ, Henning. And in this corner, weighing in at 195 pounds, your host and cruiserweight champion of the world, Dynamite, Darren Boy. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world. We are back with the Eating Leather Podcast. I am your executive producer / co-host, Jeff Bowers. And, of course, the man that runs this fun little show, our good friend Darren Boyd. Darren, how you doing, buddy?
Surviving. It's glad to be back after we had to do our NFL draft responsibilities with the Shrine Bowl, and then my back is acting up, but we'll get that fixed here soon. And without further ado, I had to bring in the A game today, literally. Abe Gonzalez, our man.
Abe.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it as always.
There he is. Yeah, looking at the, got the fightsatw.com behind him, man. Look at that guy, man. Looking good. Collared shirt and everything. So, man, Abe, what's been going on?
So, fights around the world, so abbreviated for fightsatw.com has been what I've been working on. I've been working on for the past, say 8 months, but now officially launched in January. And we're covering boxing and wrestling. So
nice.
you're gonna see Teofimo Lopez and The Rock next to each other on articles, and and also covering independent wrestling from not only here from the U.S., from across the world. So both boxing and wrestling, mainstream, indies, and it makes for some fun content that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's killer. And in fact, with our little new venture here, the 24 Media, man, we're talking about partnering up with maybe Lou DiBella and broadcasting some of his stuff. And man, like I said, it just feels like the world of boxing is kind of stepping back into the fore. We went through the doldrums of being on all the pay-per-view and all that stuff, but now with it being so much more accessible with DAZN and ESPN picking it up with Top Rank and all that, it feels like it's coming back and becoming a mainstream sport again. And man, could be nothing better.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. And I think to add to what you're saying, the pop culture is accepting boxing again, and they're talking about it in various different platforms. So all that always helps when casual fans that have these huge platforms are talking about boxing.
Yes,
that only helps the sport move forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I did learn TikTok today. My daughter taught me, so we'll be promoting that on TikTok, even though I'm 50 and uncool.
Hey, man, it's the way of the world, right?
Evidently. She's like, Dad, click. Here, I can do a 60-second video over boxing. This is cool. Let's do it.
That is so funny. Yep, man, we are we're embracing the technology. I guess that is what's happening here. So, all right, well, Abe, we brought you on here. We want to go a little bit in reverse. We're trying to get a little bit caught up. It's been a couple weeks since we had a show last, and man, we have had some boxing in that time. So let's go a little bit back in the time tunnel. We'll just go in reverse order. What'd you think of the O'Shaq Foster fight last night before last?
Yeah, so O'Shaq Foster, he closed the show like a champion.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's the best way for me to describe it. Started off a little slow, but Abraham Nova, veteran guy, a little tricky in there, had that sneaky right hand. He's always had that. And it took a little bit for O'Shaq to figure out, where he can get him. Switched to southpaw, which worked for him in spaces. But then when he went back to conventional, it didn't. So O'Shaq, he made in in-fight adjustments And that's what the champions do, right? They're able to make in-fight adjustments and come out victorious, and that's exactly what he did. Nova didn't really have a game plan B, and he wasn't able to really make any type of adjustments and come out with the victory. So with Shaqy Foster, man, it wasn't his best performance, but it was a solid victory and one that he can learn from and grow from there.
Both those guys, they went further than I think they've gone in some time, and we just showed a little bit there. Top Rank Instagram showing a little bit of the knockdown that happened there late. I thought it was a fight that, it looked like Oshak was a little bit dinged. I don't know if it was the bicep or the hand. I don't know if he actually addressed because he was shaking that right hand and really felt hesitant to throw it. It seemed like in that fight.
Yeah, he said he received like an elbow to the bicep. So in layman's terms, he got a Charlie horse, right, on his arm, and that doesn't go away in like 2 seconds. That can kind of linger around for a while. And if you're a small guy, 130 pounds, and you got a Charlie horse in your arm, and you're trying to use it to do wide punches, straight punches, and stuff like that, it's gonna hurt each time. So, he battled through it. And so credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Abe, if you won millions of dollars, would you have a Supernova mascot with you everywhere you went? That was amazing. I want that mascot, but I don't have millions of dollars.
Hey, you don't need millions of dollars to have a mascot like that. It is good that he has that, because that definitely promotes him. It promotes his brand. And he made a great point earlier in the telecast where he said every college team has a mascot, right? Or every NFL team and NBA team has a mascot. So, why can't he have one? And it's worked out for him. And people ask, not to be funny, but people ask more about the mascot than him.
Oh yeah, no question. And by the way, on the screen there,
it's a great bit.
You can see it.
Jeff and I have been in the radio business for a long time, and we love a good bit.
Yeah, man. Like I said, you can see it right there on the screen. Oh man, that is a funny bit. So hey,
he was throwing combinations the same as Nova. I mean, I was very impressed. I was like, this is awesome.
And dancing too.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
that was killer. All right, so on the same card, we'll just run it down real quick. Andres Cortez beat Brian Chevalier. Man, that was pretty much a beatdown. I mean, Chevalier came in as the favorite, and he took a whooping.
Yeah, I thought that he owed him some money. That's how bad he beat him.
Boy, no doubt, man. I mean, that was a whooping. And then my favorite fight of the night, Bruce Shoo Shoo Covington against Bernard Torres. Man, that was such a fun fight. And then of course the end of it, we had this fun thing happen. Oh, let's see if I got it on here. Oh, I muted it.
From their club, there's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I may just ferocious something with your heart on your children. Praise be to God.
There it is, the greatness. Right, like I said, off the Top Rank Instagram, as he quotes Mike Tyson. Abe, what'd you think of that?
Hey, look, I got Mike Tyson right behind me. So, yeah, no, listen, Bruce Shoo Shoo Carrington, he's legit. He's the goods. What I like most about him is his vision, patience, and his ability to feint or to really do the feints that matter, which pay dividends later on in the rounds. And if you look at rounds 2 and 3, that's exactly what he was doing. He was seeing what opportunities he can get out of those feints. And then round 4 came around, and boom, he landed the big hammer, and it was all she wrote.
Yes, sir. Love it. Like you said, good card there. Let's see. We also had, obviously we had a little bit I don't know what you think of the Perez and Joseph Diaz Jr. fight from the super lightweight.
He was there.
Yeah, so I was there. I was
there
for the fight at the Commerce Casino. Man, I'm gonna tell you something right now. First, I love me some Southern California Golden Boy club shows, because
yes, sir,
those events are electric. Every fighter has like their whole neighborhood there with like garage made T-shirts and stuff like
Nice.
that, and supporting their guy. I mean, I'm not trying to knock them for that. I'm really saying that they all come out and try to support their fighter as much as they can, the way they can, and the electricity in there was undeniable. As soon as the doors opened, there was a line wrapped around the casino for people to make their way in.
That's amazing.
They went to go see Arnold Barbosa Jr. He was doing a meet and greet, signing, shaking hands, kissing babies. Yocasta Valle was there. She's got the big fight with Sinicia Estrada coming up for the undisputed minimum weight titles.
Yep.
And then, Jojo Diaz against Jesus Perez. I think that people were wondering if how much of that fastball slowed down for Jojo Diaz, and it's slowed down enough to where a guy like Jesus Perez was able to catch up to him. You can see that when Jojo threw his punches, his reaction time to get his hands back, or his reaction time just off of the punches that were landed on him, were just a couple of ticks slower than what you would like to see. And it's probably why he struggled against them. He looked a little fleshy around the midsection. Maybe the even though the weight was 138, I don't know if he can make 135. And he just looked a little slow. He looked like a fraction of what we remembered Jojo Diaz to be.
Wow.
And I don't know how much more he has left in the tank, but I just don't see him contending for a championship anytime soon.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that, and that's it comes for us all at some point, right? And age comes for us all, and it seems like it's we're going to talk a little bit later about watching Bud Crawford waste year after year, and he can't get a fight. So it just kind of sucks how sometimes that happens. So the next big round of fights, we go back in the time tunnel as we go right there before Super Bowl week, Las Vegas. Big show. Teofimo Lopez comes out, and I think he spent more time on his intro than he did fighting, because Abe, you have to admit, Teofimo lost that fight. 100% he lost that fight, right? Even though he got the unanimous decision.
Listen, I was there for that fight as well. First, I want to say that the Mandalay Bay, did a fantastic job of promoting that fight. When you got to the Mandalay Bay, the pillars in the front had poster wraps of the Teofimo Lopez, then Jermaine Ortiz, and then the card. The hotel rooms had Teofimo Lopez on the cover of Las Vegas magazine in each room.
Love it.
Anywhere you went in the casino, you saw Teofimo Lopez or Jermaine Ortiz or the top-ranked poster on it. So they did a fantastic job of promoting. Also, the fact that they were holding the NFL experience there, so they got all those fans, just kind of plowing through the casino, and they saw, posters and things like that. So, great job on that. Kudos to them. Also, I want to, there's some people that were saying that the Teofimo intro was corny and this. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, he's a showman, and I personally enjoyed the showmanship part of the ring walk, because it wasn't just your normal singer, rapper, or whoever walking next to the fighter and doing lyrics off key, off the sound or something like that. Like, it was a legit show, and I could appreciate that. The fight itself stunk. It was a bad fight, and the problem with bad fights is that they're normally hard to score. So when they're hard to score, you always defer to the champ. I mean, that's just naturally what people do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard to score, and I thought that Jermaine Ortiz had squeezed it out, but I could understand why they gave it to Teofimo Lopez, because I tweeted out, I think it was in the 12th round, I said, I think that Jermaine Ortiz is going to regret mailing in the championship rounds.
Yeah,
because that's what he did, and all three scorecards from the judges, they gave it to Teofimo Lopez. That cost him. Him not applying pressure the last 3 rounds cost him the fight.
Yeah. And Darren,
I had it 115, 113. I had no problem with for Ortiz, but I agree with you 100%. You know, you can't give away championship rounds just like Oscar did against Tito Trinidad, which Oscar dominated the fight, but he took the last championship rounds off. It was that kind of feeling I had. But the 117, 111, that judge never needs to see a fight again in person.
Well,
exactly.
I was going to say, we had some weird, what was in the OSHAC, we had the one guy that scored it completely the other way, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And what's funny is the announcers before the judges were like, yeah, this guy has some weird results. And it's like, yeah, he does, and my goodness. So, yeah, our good friend Lou DiBella absolutely rails on judges periodically. So, yeah, I think we had some of that in favor. And again, honestly, as you said, it could have gone either way. Big props to Jermaine Ortiz for coming in and executing the game plan. But as you said, when it's winning time, just like the San Francisco 49ers, you don't lay up at the Masters, you don't kick a field goal and give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. It is absolutely, you got to have that go for it mentality, and I think that was huge. Also on that ticket, we saw Keyshawn Davis with his 6th-round TKO against Pedraza. Pedraza put up a fight, but my goodness.
Yeah, and I, Keyshawn Davis looked great, and I want to give him 1,000% of the credit. But I do have to take a little bit away, only because Pedraza hadn't fought at 135 in 3-4 years, I think it was.
Yep.
So he's been fighting at 140, and then he takes this fight at 135. Obviously, a little bit drained, and you can tell by how those body punches were affecting him. So, yeah, Keyshawn looked sensational, but still got to take a little bit off of it because it was a weight drained Pedraza. And if he would have did the same at 140 at a 140 Pedraza, probably would have gave him the full credit.
Agreed. And the thing that I said to Darren as we were talking about that is I said, look, Keyshawn's killer, man. He's got it. He knows he's got it. He knows this guy's not going to be able to hurt him. But, man, did he take damage trying to get inside. I mean, every time he's getting inside, he's just taking shots. I mean, again, when it's a guy that can't hurt you, okay. But you can't keep doing that. And he's got the frame to add the weight and to move up in class. But as he moves up in class, you take those shots, you're going to be, looking up at the stars, eating some leather.
And I tell you, because it is the Eating Leather podcast, he'd be eating a lot of leather.
Yes, sir.
But no,
thanks for the shout out, brother.
I do want to say that I don't like how there are instances where he squares his body up straight to the opponent. The next level guys are going to see that, and if they catch him in the right spot, he's going to fall back because he's squared up. He doesn't have no foundation. And I think that's something that he needs to work on, is not squaring himself up where both shoulders are right in front of his opponent. And that can get him into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Agreed. Darren, you got anything?
Well, we got to talk real quick about, before we mention Jamal Herring and his upcoming fight, we got to talk about Joshua Nagua coming up real quick.
Oh, wait.
What are your thoughts, sir?
Hang on. Wait, before you get to that, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were moving ahead. I had one more quick thing on this.
I thought we were on a time crunch.
No, you're good. I had one more thing from that fight, which is my new favorite boxer, Darren. My new boxer. I want to get Abe's thoughts on Abdullah Mason.
Abdullah Mason?
Yes, sir.
Abdullah the Butcher. Yeah. Man, what is there not to like about that kid? He's got the goods. They've been bringing up nice and slow. I just hope that with all this newfound fame or attention that he's getting, that it doesn't get to his head. So I want to see how he does next fight, how he processes all this new attention. But what's not there to like about that kid? He's got all the goods. He's got the defense, the offense, and how he moves, the feints. Like he's got the goods. And there's a lot of fighters in the game right now that have been talking about this kid. coming up, and I think his time is coming real soon.
And man, 19 years old, he's got it all in front of him. As you said, he seems like, we've seen, and we're going to talk about Berlanga in just a minute, of these kids that come up that, are just power punchers that just, can get away with anything, can get away with murder until they can't, right? And that becomes, I think we're seeing that a little bit more out of this guy, because it looks like he's getting the defense. Our good friend Wayne McCullough, who is training fighters and is just absolutely preaches nothing but defense. I think would be very proud of this kid. He looks like he's got the goods and the foundation that he needs. So, and the same thing with Shushu, young fighter, but man, he's using the Philly cross and it looking great at it, and man, it was fun. Like I said, it's fun to see. You don't want to see Floyd Mayweather defense, but you do want to see good defense that can hold up, right?
Absolutely, and I think that the sky's the limit for Mason, and now it's up to Top Rank to continue to build upon that, because they have to start getting this new wave of young fighters up as the older ones get older, right?
Yep, exactly, and I think those things are there. All right, Darren, take it away. Let's talk a little bit about what's ahead for us.
Well, the first and foremost is Joshua versus Nangua.
Ngannou.
He beat Fury.
Yep.
Ngannou, whatever I was trying to say. He beat Fury, didn't get the decision. Very excited about this fight. Joshua just seems to have a mental weakness as far as being able to finish fights, which you and I were talking about earlier off the record about country to country. We don't have time for that since we're on a time crunch. But Abe, what do you think of this upcoming fight?
It's an interesting fight. I don't like that. He kind of dumped Derek James, Joshua, that is, and
friend of the show.
He is gonna try to fight him like the second Ruiz fight, where he is not that aggressive, kind of using the jab, moving around. Ngannou, I spoke to his coach Dewey Cooper, who is a decorated, martial arts athlete and MMA and boxer and all that. And he told me straight up, if Ngannou lands, it's over.
No doubt.
I do agree.
And I agree with that. And so I think that Ngannou will have the opportunity to land in one of those clinches where Joshua might stay in the pocket a little too long, which he tends to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ngannou is gonna land something big, and I will be very surprised if Joshua can withstand it.
Now we got to touch on real quick while we have a little bit of time left. As you're a Marine and one of our favorite fighters, Jamal Herring, is a well-decorated Marine like yourself. I believe what were you, 25, 26 years in?
25 years.
25. Well, thank you for your service,
yes,
sir.
Sir.
We're going to do a special show with Wayne and Jamal at the same time coming up real quick. We may bring you on too. I mean, that's going to be epic. What do you think of his upcoming opponent on April 3rd?
Yeah, I think that it's a good fight. See, with Jamal, he has to stay busy. And if he wants to crack the top 10 or maybe get a title opportunity, these are the type of fights that he has to continue to dominate. And so I see it as another fight where he'll come in and show off his experience as a former champion and overwhelm his opponent. Whether the knockout comes or not, more than likely it'd be like a unanimous decision type situation. If not, he'll look for the stoppage. But I like it. I like that he's coming right back in there after appearing late in 2023. And if he can, get 2 or 3 fights in this year, maybe he gets a title shot at the top of next year or later this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's going to be a fun one. Like you said, April 3rd, we had the big fight there in Riyadh on March 8th, which will be live on ESPN Plus, which is the Joshua Ngannou. Of course, we got a couple pretty good fights coming up next week. What are your thoughts on Edgar Berlanga and McCrory in a 12-round super middleweight? Berlanga looked real rough in his last outing, and obviously he wants to overcome that. He's getting the top of the billing. So can he deliver?
Yeah, I think McCrory is there as the sacrificial lamb. I think that I think that Berlanga is going to do what he does, and it's going to set up for a Berlanga Jaime Munguia showdown in the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That'll be fun.
That will be a fun fight. Yeah, I definitely like that. Let's see, we've got Luis Alberto Lopez against Rhea Abe coming up for the IBF featherweight title in New York on March 2nd.
Yeah, Luis Alberto Lopez. I just love how he fights, man. He's got, that Nassim Ahmed kind of style, and he's just a fun fighter to watch. So I see him continue to dominate, and it'll be interesting to see how they set him up. Moving in the next couple months. I think that some of these guys are gonna have interim fights here in this first half, and then it's gonna make for some bigger fights in the second half.
No doubt. Oh, I forgot.
I've got to ask you about Canelo.
Oh yeah,
because he's taunted on Azteca TV about fighting an American fighter, and the people are like, "Oh, it's Charlo. Oh, it's Crawford. Oh, it's Benavidez," and Benavidez camp's like, "Yeah, we haven't even talked to him, so that's not going to happen." Who do you picture him fighting on May 4th?
I think it's Jamal Charlo. All signs are pointing towards that from the people that I've spoken to as well. It's Jamal Charlo, and yeah. Now there is some rumors out there that Canelo's having some issues, not issues, but he wants to have some certainties in regards to monies to reflect before he signs any type of documents. If that doesn't happen, I think Rick Glazer had posted he has like till this week for them to figure it out. If that doesn't happen, he can end up making a fight with somebody else, and the PBC contract is done. Wow. So that'll be interesting to see, what happens there. Because if that happens, then who does Canelo fight?
That's a very good question, because he wants $35 million guaranteed in the bank before he even signs on the contract, according to sources, and you have better sources than I do. So that'll be very intriguing on who he goes after.
If he just wants money, go fight Jake Paul, you jackass. Like, come on, get in the ring. Like, this bugs me. It always has bugged me, right? Ugh. By the way, I'll fight Jake Paul anytime, any place. Couple $1 million.
We can shave, sir.
Let me tell you that don't discount Jake Paul as a future opponent at some point.
Dave, don't you speak that
You're
evil
definitely
on me.
right.
Don't you put that evil on me. I don't want that. Oh, God. Speaking of Jake Paul,
before we let you go, we got to ask you, of course, our official prospect of the show, Xander Zayas, still supposed to fight in June. Kind of rumors of an injury. Saw him on TV. Looks good. Was he just bumped to the main event just for Top Rank? Or I don't like the long stretches of inactivity for a 20-year-old fighter. 21, I think he can drink a beer now.
Yeah, I think that they just bumped him for the June card. Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend. Usually, it's becoming again a big fight weekend in New York City. And I think they want to build towards that and have them as the main event. Yeah, and it's going to be the Xander show moving forward. And more than likely, if I had to guess, it's Xander in June and then in December.
Wow, that's good.
Well, Jeff's told me when he wins the Powerball that he's taking all of us to go see a fight at MSG. So I'm fired up if he wins the Powerball.
Absolutely. By the way, okay, so quickly, will we see Usyk Fury happen in May?
Oh, if we don't, it's going to cost Fury $10 million.
Well, dude, does it feel like he's ducking this fight? It feels like he's ducking this fight.
It feels like he wants to have, Fury is the master of the mind games. This is like Fury 101. Frustrate your opponent, have him, in and out of camps. This is straight from the Fury book of mind games. And I think it does happen in May. They pretty much have him there solid, but who knows? I mean, that the cut might not be, open, or this is the thing. It will happen in May, and the only reason why I say that is because they have a 2-fight deal.
Right.
So regardless, we're seeing this a second time. So if I'm Fury, let's say he's not at 100% and he loses, he's still got the rematch in there, and they'll run it back again.
And
so
we saw him get the.
I think that it does happen in May, but don't count out the Gypsy King. Tyson Fury is something else.
Yeah, no doubt. And I will say,
sir,
no, you're good. Just mute yourself out there for a minute, Darren.
I'm alive.
I will say, I think, we obviously know Fury gets the home cooking there in Riyadh, as he did with the Ngannou fight. But man, okay, if you're handicapping it, Abe, you got to put a sizable chunk, the amount of money you're going to get for appearing on this podcast, on one of those fighters. You taking Fury? You taking Usyk?
I'm taking Fury by decision.
Nice. Always bet on the judges because they'll always bring you home. Gotta say, the most excited, maybe the fight I'm most excited for here in the short term is that Lomachenko-Kambosos fight. Man, I think that's going to be fun.
Yes, that's going to be a fun fight. Because the winner of that, right? What happens with Lomachenko? Does he get served up to Shakur Stevenson?
Right.
I don't know what Shakur is doing these days, but
no doubt.
Maybe that's the fight. But Loma will catch Shakur like with a potential 12-month layoff, right? And maybe catch him rusty. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but the fight is going to be a good one, and I still think that Loma comes out on top.
Oh, by the way, Shakur just announced today that he's ending his 1-month retirement, Tom Brady style, and looks like he's coming back in June. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be somebody. They're saying
who's that? Shakur is?
Yeah, just announced there. Shakur ends his 1-month retirement. And looks like he's Muratalla, De Los Santos, or Abdullah Mason, which I mean, I'll take it, but
I think Muratalla is probably going to be the fight. I'm sure that Robert Garcia wants a title fight for his guy.
Absolutely.
And if they do it in June, don't be surprised if they end up doing that on that Xander date and just having Xander as the co-main. If they do that, there's a good possibility that maybe they slide it into the big room.
Nice.
Because Shakur, does have that Newark following. They can fill up. He filled up 10,000, I think, or 11,000 in his last fight over there in Jersey.
Yep.
I think that might be enough there to get him in the big room.
Well, I guarantee you, Abe Gonzalez, FightsATW.com will be there. I am most definitely. Maybe I can drag this old man who with the coughing fits with me as well, and we can take all of our draft money and go make this thing happen and go see one in the big room. That would not suck, right, Darren?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna see X in person one day. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
I'm still devastated he canceled his Tulsa fight that we were all geared up and ready to go to, but it'll happen again.
For sure. We got lots on the schedule.
I can't thank you enough on short notice. You are the man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Awesome. Hey, Abe, for real, thank you so much for popping on with us, and we will get you on again soon. Again, go check him out, FightsATW.com. You still doing the podcast too?
Yeah, the Boxing Rush Hour show on all audio platforms.
There it is, Boxing Rush Hour. Go check that out again. Apple, Spotify, all the places you get your podcasts. That is awesome. That is the great Abe Gonzalez. Thank you, Abe. We will see you again soon. So for the great Darren Boyd, for Abe Gonzalez, I am Jeff Bowers saying keep your hands up at all times, defend yourself, and come out fighting. We will talk to you again next week.